The UFO files part 2. I've shared a lot of things in the earlier video where I said that I've seen UFOs and how the animal cruelty is a matter of concern on our planet, including environment cruelty and the destruction of ecosystems. I mean, the very fact that human beings are doing this to human beings, because ultimately it is us who are going to suffer because of whatever is happening, including global warming and climate change. Uh, the whole thing is being done through humans. However, it is being um, humans are being used through greed. And even when a human being knows that this is wrong, I should not do this, they still subscribe to it because they are getting a lot of money from that. So they are selling themselves to money, and or promises of powerful positions, or even to threats, death threats. That is the way mafias work. And now if you see, there's a mafia culture everywhere. It's in villages, it's in cities, all across India. The mafia culture is very spread out, and pretty much there in other countries also. Italy is like a hub of mafias. There are big mafia names, and it's always been known the Don Corleone thing has come from there only. And the mafia culture linked to businessmen, business tycoons like billionaires, and these that exists because they need each other. They stand with each other, and if there are criminal cases against them, they kind of cover up for each other, so that they escape arrest. So that's the normal trend as of now, and it's increasing and it's spread out everywhere. And if people are going to just give in to the pressures from this type of culture, and just surrender to them, then obviously it is their loss and the loss of their future generations. Because now we are at a time when it is literally a war between the truth and the lies. So all the people who are supporting lies, frauds, all the wrongs, that includes animal cruelty, environment cruelty, all these things, they are on the wrong side of the they're on the wrong side of existence, because they are doing things which are ultimately going to dig the grave for their generations as well. And whether or not they understand, that's a separate thing. Maybe they think that they will just be connected to the luxurious and super rich and they'll keep getting away, but even that is not going to happen, because firstly they need to reach to that level of being super rich themselves. And for how long will the super rich even support them? Once they are done with them, they'll throw them out. Okay, there'll be nobody, and then they'll have to come back to us humans who are trying to stand for the truth and what is correct. So obviously, even in the human even in this group of humans, there are people who are still subscribing to non-veg and dairy, and they don't understand environment cruelty and the things that go towards environment cruelty. They don't understand all that yet, but there's a lot of education that is required to make them understand, because they still governed through selfish concepts, of self-centered concepts, that okay, if I need this, then I need this. But they are not seeing the kind of cruelty that is involved for the items that they need, and how it can be avoided and it can be replaced with sources and accessories and items which are not which are not involved in cruelty. Now obviously there's an obvious deliberate attempt to create an atmosphere of massive cruelty to animals. There's wildlife exploitation, there's domestic animal exploitation, the way the street animals are living, that is very bad. The way the urbanization is happening, like it's not properly calculated, and it's not okay. I mean, it's not that the decision makers don't have it they don't have the resources to plan things and to do things correct. It's not that. This is a deliberate thing. This is happening deliberately, and it is happening almost all over the world. There may be some places still that are not really affected that much, but eventually even they will get affected, because everything is, after the globalization, everything is interconnected with each other. So trade systems are interconnected, monetary systems are interconnected. I mean, more than how it was earlier. So everything is interconnected, so eventually everybody who are in the same grid are going to get affected by all the wrong things that are happening everywhere. So but that's okay, that's one part of the thing. Back to aliens and UFOs. I said that, yeah, I have seen Tic Tac UFOs. Obviously, I didn't even know that those cylindrical white things are called Tic Tac UFOs. That is a term that was created by the US government, because they had also captured Tic Tac UFOs on over military sites over Yemen and all, and they had tried to shoot it with missiles and bring it down, but it didn't happen. The missile dodged, and uh, it went away. So like that, 14 years back, I had seen another video of where, like, I have been researching this from a very long time, because I was getting a lot of information in my head, and I was compelled to, psychologically compelled to find out, because I could not just rest without not knowing what is going on. And Google was the ultimate tool at that time to look up, if anyone else is having the same experience and thoughts and everything. Because I knew the alien presence was increasing. From my childhood, I knew there was an alien presence everywhere, but it was not that at that level. But then, since 1990s, I think it somehow started increasing, and especially after the internet uh, started. I don't know. I mean, I sense that the level of their intervention in our daily lives was increasing and increasing. Although I was not sure if they were, because I felt they were also the friendly types who were giving spiritual information and right and wrong. Because I somehow knew from my childhood about the dairy cruelty of the dairy industry. Because I really didn't know where that milk was coming from. Anyway, I was lactose intolerant. I didn't know where the milk was coming from, but yeah, on asking, obviously on inquiry, I found out that it was coming from this cow. I was like, if the cow is making milk, then the milk is being made for her children, right? I mean, why human beings taking it? But somehow I knew that there was a lot of cruelty. It was through the taste, I mean, through having that, and you get some psychological information about it, that something is not right about this product, that in the making of this product there has been some violence involved. So all this information was coming to me from my childhood, and I was very sensitive as a child, emotionally sensitive. I used to be very, I mean, very easily I would get hurt. So I could sense things that much, that I could get hurt so deeply and so easily. So, apart from my lactose intolerance, which is a biological thing, psychologically also, I was completely, averse to dairy products, because it reeked of violence. I mean, psychologically, it reeked of violence. It kind of gave those violent vibes that there was something very wrong involved in that product. I mean, the source of that product. And so I always felt guilty after having any dairy item. I always felt guilty that I have subscribed to something very wrong. And eventually, of course, as I grew up, and these on Facebook, Orkut, and Google, and all other social mediums, online social mediums, these things also started coming up as information from PETA first. PETA as an organization has given out a lot of awareness, evidences about the cruelty in dairy industry and all. And so slowly it a lot of other associations and NGOs also came up and started catching up over the same topic. And I realized that new vegan items were coming in the market and all that. So okay, so I'm just saying that this is how, I mean, there is an obvious attempt. Okay, now the decision makers, the people at the post of decision making, they are aware of so many things. Okay, they have been given a plethora of information, that okay, like, if we do this, then this happens, if we do this, then this happens. They know, okay, what is being done and what has been put into action, the consequences of the action, the consequences of the bills that are introduced in the parliament. the consequences of decisions of circulars. They are aware of it. They know the pros and cons. Okay, so how is it that something like chemical plastic was introduced in the market since I don't know when, maybe 1980s or 1990s, and the way it has been increasingly used across markets, and knowing that chemical plastic is not biodegradable easily, it takes 300 to 500 years for it to naturally biodegrade, and if we burn it, then there's a release of so much carbon in the air which can, you know, cause pollution if a lot of people are doing it at multiple places. Obviously, I mean, even if they do it at different times, there is a certain release of carbon and all. Because plastic is also a product of petroleum, because when you burn it, you can get petrol liquid out of it. So, why are these toxic fuels being used in an atmosphere of humans who breathe oxygen? We need oxygen. We need more and more oxygen. We don't need poison and we don't need toxic in the air. Why are we being given that? The more and the way the car sales increased, and automobile, other two-wheeler, four-wheeler, and all other automobile sales, if you see how the urban cities are now, they are not livable because of the kind of pollution that is being created by vehicles. I mean, obviously we have PUC limits, but there are vehicles who don't follow that and they don't even get fined for it. They're like they're running around throwing diesel in the air, and all these toxic fuels are are being put out into the air so much that it is making our breathing difficult. Why? I mean, don't, even when the chemical plastic was introduced, there was hemp plastic. That is a bhang ka plant. In Hindi, we call it bhang. So that hemp is a versatile plant. It is used to create clothes. It is used to create jeans. It is used to create. It gives us biofuel, biodiesel. You know, we can use it as a fuel. It is a versatile plant, and it has been known for its versatility to provide for so many things. There are industries that are using hemp products, you know, that are making hemp products for sale. But where do we see in a local market? Do we find them? No. I mean, we have to ask them to send it to us individually. Why are they not getting access to our local markets? I still don't know why. There are hemp factories in India. There are hemp product manufacturers in India. Look up hemp plastic and all. I'll share some links also. I had spoken to them, and it is weird that why are these products which are good for our health not being introduced in the market? And why is animal cruelty being proliferated so much without any? Everywhere you look, there are chicken centers. They're just slaughtering goat centers. This slaughter is like, it's so much. Either some of them are licensed, the rest are not licensed. But is it okay? It is not okay. You are normalizing cruelty. Like, okay, if somebody is being killed and for money, for taste buds, it's okay. It's not okay. We are human beings. We feel each other. If the same thing happens to humans, अगर humans को लगा दिया across shops and like, okay, humans being slaughtered because they don't have anybody to look after them, and then they're being served as meat कि घर पे लेके जाओ and you cook and have. Is that okay? It's not okay. They are living beings. They cry, they scream. They scream for help. They don't want to die. They want to live. And it is still going on. The same thing with cattle. They are being forcefully impregnated. Then they are reproducing. The baby, if it is a male calf, it is just being sent out on the road or being sent to slaughter. Because now there are tractors, so even male calves are not required to plow the fields for rice and all that, growing rice or whatever. So they are not required, they are a waste, and they are like, okay, phek do. Is that okay? It's not okay at all. Even in the jungles, these things don't happen. In the forests, in the jungles, the animals, whatever they, if the predator animal is there, they prey on the herbivore. A carnivore will prey on the herbivore when they are hungry or when they have to store food. This is not, has nothing to do with hunger. We have sources to feed our stomachs. We have been taught agriculture. By whom? Again, there's a theory that has come from the ET race. And yes, there have been civilizations before this particular civilization, 2000 years old civilization, which have shown to have a lot of advanced technology. From, you can follow Praveen Mohan's YouTube videos, where he has gone to several of these ancient temples where there have been etchings of etchings show that they have had a lot of modern technology way back, even 10, 12,000 years back. And there are also etchings of what appears to be alien beings, like different kinds, like reptilian beings are also there, like half reptile, half humanoid. Now we have a lot of talk about reptilian sources in mixed up with the US government and all. It's very, very possible. I have personally known the tall white aliens. I have seen a very authentic photograph of a gray alien in a very dilapidated place, like a ruin, a building ruin. In that, I was in touch with a paranormal group back in the 2010 2011, and they had shown me that photo of the gray alien, and it was completely authentic. It was an authentic photograph. And and I somehow knew that, even mentally I knew that gray aliens are very much around. And reptile aliens I've personally never seen, but I've seen videos on YouTube, like of late, the way people have been putting out videos where gray aliens, not gray, gray aliens also, and reptilian beings are have been shown to, like, some people will get a slit in their eye because they are actually reptilian but in the human mask. So I don't know if they are doctored videos, but a lot of them do seem realistic. And the other is the mantid aliens, the insectoids, or the mantid alien beings. They are like mantid on the face, and the body is more like a human. So it's like how we have Lord Ganesha, which is half elephant and half human, like the face of elephant. So there have been, obviously there have been genetic manipulations to create such beings, maybe in the past by alien beings 10,000, 12,000 years back, before the ice age began. um, so sorry, that was before the floods. So yeah, there's a lot of proofs also about the intervention of alien beings in our planet, and how they are trying to control the human race in various ways, out of which one is through alien implants. There was a doctor. It's now, I mean, when he was alive, I was following his work. He probably passed away 1 or 2 years back. I'm not sure exactly of the timeline, but Dr. Roger Lear, he was a surgeon, and he took up a case accidentally or something, where he found this implant which is not known to human medical science. Okay, we do have implants ourselves, but I mean, human beings have also created implants to put inside the human body, but this implant was very different. The material was very different, and it kind of tended to move around by itself. It was not stationary. So it had its own characteristics, which is different from the implants used by human beings. Uh, the microchips. So these were very much of a very different origin and characteristic. So he tagged them as alien implants, and not just one. He has done so many surgeries of such similar type of implants, where people have felt harassed because of the presence of those implants in their body, and they felt that their thoughts are being controlled, their actions are being controlled through their thoughts. So all these things, so these experiments have been going on. And there is also the MK Ultra thing. People have filed for damage, to CIA, because MK Ultra experiments were done on them without their consent, and they are going through various deadly diseases like cancer and this and that, and they've filed for penalty. So I don't know what happened to the case, but CIA has been systematically trying to dismiss it all. like, and because it is a big body, powerful body, so it is difficult for, even for so many people to come together and bring them down and uh, you know um, take them to task or book them. However, see, these are the direct evidences of alien intervention. Now, why would a human race want to experiment on a human mind, that also without their consent, and use so many, grotesque ways and so many violent ways to finally compromise their health and to give them cancer and all these things? Why would they want to do that? Even in the products we use, we have got chemicals which are not good for our health. And FDA, the fast food units, they are making things in such a way which are not okay. And but the FDA with the worldwide, some countries are conscious and they are sensitive about these things, but in various places, the FDA of the country are not doing enough monitoring and exposing products that we eat which are not okay for us, and it should be stopped. But obviously there's a very big culture of bribery, and like, if somebody wants to sell something which is harmful to others, they'll just bribe their way and do it still. They might themselves not have it, but as long as they are getting money, they don't care about who's getting affected, who's dying, who's living. They don't care. So this is going on now. Unless if it is all about money and power, are you going to take the money and power with you after you die? I don't think so. Nothing is going to go with no material or even the sense of material success. I mean, it is not going to go with you after you die. So, where are you going with your stuff? Other than just creating more and more bad karma. Nowadays, people don't even feel guilt. When they do wrong, they don't feel guilt. They justify themselves because there's a group conscience at work where, like, okay, this person is doing it, so he must be right because he's gaining from it, so even I'll do it. So there's a group conscience. Like, if everyone is doing the same wrong, they have each other to cover themselves. I mean, to cover up for themselves. So this is the normal chalan now. People don't have a conscience anymore. Most people don't have a conscience. They don't care. So this is it. And I had talked about this person, John Lear. In one of the videos that John Lear shared, he had experienced the Roswell UFO crash when he was a child. His family had experienced, and he had shared some experiences in a podcast, which was in an interview. And during those times they were called interviews, and like way back. And he had shared his experiences, and he had researched on the topic, and he considered that they are not our friends. Aliens are not our friends. I don't believe that. I do believe that there are some friendly aliens as well, and there are others who are not okay. They are negative beings, and they are working with the governments to take control of the planet and to terraform the planet into the atmosphere that will be conducive for their survival, which is not oxygen based. Okay, because if you see, the overall effort from the 1950s has to decrease the level of oxygen in the world. So and there have been I've also mentioned about UFOs being spotted in Loktak Lake, Manipur. These are very old videos. I have links to those videos which I'll share. There was a boy in Nasik who was very friendly with mantid aliens. He had taken selfies of him with mantid aliens. However, those, and he had also photographed saucer shaped aircraft hovering over the cottages in his village. And this was again way back in 2010-11. And this news had come out, even the Manipur news had come out in their local channel, and this fellow was also local channel, it had come out. But later on I saw he removed the video of the selfies with the manned alien. He had removed it. It was there available earlier, and I didn't think that he would remove it. Unfortunately, I don't have the backup, but he removed it later on because I just can't find it. and there's only one video of the a very raw video, and not raw as in it's somebody just captured the video which was on TV, so it's got lines all over it, and so it's like that. The video that was this was when the news was given in a local channel, with all those jhanju noise in the background and music and in the background and all. So it is that kind of a video, but there were much better videos available earlier of this Nasik boy who had direct experience with mantid aliens. He had a Facebook profile. I tried to reach out to him, but he didn't respond at all. And I don't know if he got any attention from any UFO researchers. I don't know about it. But these days, people are only saying that, okay, I saw this UFO, I saw that UFO. Now, there are many types of UFO spacecrafts. Like, I have personally seen only the cylindrical white ones, which are called the Tic Tac UFOs by the US government. And there are those saucer shaped spacecraft that people have seen a lot. I have never seen a saucer shaped spacecraft. I believe every spacecraft will have a different alien species in them. And if you see, the US government has been shooting missiles at the Tic Tac UFOs and not the saucer shaped spacecraft, saucer shaped UFO. I have at least not found anywhere they're shooting at the saucer shaped UFO. I think the saucer shaped UFOs are probably being, probably the carriers of gray aliens and of the bad ones, the negative aliens. Although there is a temple now in somewhere in South India, a video of Praveen Mohan had come out recently, where they had the priest has kept a statue of a gray alien, because he was told by Sant Agastya. Now, if you know about Sant Agastya, he has written everybody's future on palm leaves way back in 2600 years back or 5600 years back. I'm not sure of the timeline, but he had written everybody's future in those palm leaves, and past, future, name, and everything. And this fellow, it seems, got message from Sant Agastya, either through palm leaf or what, I don't know, that he has to install the statue of a gray alien, because they are going to come back to our civilization. They are going to reappear as gods. So people go there to pray to the gray alien, and this priest also said that he has seen UFOs coming over the temple a lot of times. So I don't know how true it is, and etc. But I think these beings may not be, why would they come to, and why would, given the current reality of the state the world is in, everything is chaotic. The environment has been compromised entirely. Climate change was a deliberate thing. It was deliberately caused, and it was caused very systematically with a proper plan. It was being done slowly from 1950s. It is going towards that stage, okay, where there'll be a complete collapse, and an oxygen based atmosphere will be completely compromised, because the whole effort is to reduce oxygen. Why are you chopping off old trees? Why are you doing that? Then why are you after Amazon, which is called the world's lungs? Okay, the Amazon forest, rainforest in Brazil, it is called the world's lungs. Why do you want to destroy that? Because it produces so much oxygen for the world. I mean, I don't see any human being taking such decisions, because ultimately he also has to breathe oxygen. I don't, I really don't understand why a human being would take such decisions. So these things are pretty much there, and I'll put up the videos that I talked about. Apart from these aliens, UFOs, there are other spiritual entities, paranormal, parallel realities, and there are sometimes these realities overlap with our dimension. I have seen a bird which did not does not belong to our world. It was a 7-8 foot tall bird, multicolored feathers, and it had a small beak. But um, I have it was not friendly. When I saw it in a place and I tried to follow it, it just screamed and ran towards the other direction. And while I was looking down, because it was monsoon and the place was muddy, so I was looking down to step properly, carefully, and when I looked up, it had vanished. So I knew that because it couldn't have just vanished. A 7, 8 feet bird, you just don't vanish. So that was from a parallel world. And the same bird later on, after 13 years, I accidentally was watching TV, and on HBO they were showing the movie Up. It was a cartoon movie, and I was simply watching it just for the heck of it, because there was nothing to do. It was a Sunday, and yeah, I liked cartoons, so I was watching this, and later on, I saw this bird in the same movie. It was called a sniper bird, and the bird. This bird, however, it was known to be a mythical bird even in the movie, but the bird was like very friendly, shown to be very friendly in the movie. But the bird I experienced was not friendly. He was actually scared of me. He was probably seen a human being for the first time, and he or she just ran in the opposite direction. And the difference between the bird I saw and this bird was that the cartoon movie bird had a long beak, and the bird that I saw had a short beak, and he was pecking on the ground when I saw him. And when I went up to him and I said hello, and he looked up, and like 7, 8 feet tall, and he's looking at me like this, and it's screaming, yeah, it screamed, and it just ran in the opposite direction. And I'm like, Arey, why is it running? Because I'm kind of used to have a friendly transaction with animals and birds. So I was very upset as to why a bird ran away from me. And it was completely out of the world, literally out of the world. Later on, I researched about it on Google and all. And I found that such birds have been spotted by a lot of people here and there. And the proverb, wild goose chase, has been created after this bird, because when you go after this bird, when you chase this bird, you never find the bird, you never catch the bird, because it's not from this world. So these are parallel realities that overlap with us at certain places where there are portals, because that particular place where I'd seen the bird had a portal. I knew this because I have had various experiences over there, which are which kind of indicate that there was a portal. Even the sense of the energy vibe was very different over there. So these things are pretty much there. I've seen jinns also. I keep seeing orbs here and there, like chota chota orbs, and sometimes they are spirits, and otherwise they are nature spirits. So yeah, kind of when it comes to paranormal experiences, I've had plenty of them, which I'll share in another video. That's it for now. I'll come back later on with more stuff.